What is up, my trippy hippies? It is Tammy coming to you live today from my office. This light behind me is driving me absolutely bonkers. I apologize in advance. We are live this morning for Sunday Sermon in YouTube, so if you are watching this, do me a favor, say hello, tell me where you're watching from, as always, and do me a favor and drop us a little grateful fed in the comments. Again, I am in the Pokey on Facebook, so I'm gonna post over here in the group to let everybody know. But I am live on YouTube. We tried to do this a couple of places last week, and this week I just decided to go straight here because there's no reason to try to be a pain in the butt. Live on YouTube, and then we're gonna get that shared in, and people can watch that in a couple of different places. But I am gonna give y'all a few moments. I hate to do that. I know people are coming into the replay. You are watching this. If you are watching this other places, there's nothing worse than somebody going, "We're gonna wait for a few people to jump on." If you want to go live, right? That's kind of what I'm doing. It is Sunday sermon. We are live, like I said, in the YouTube this morning. This is a place for us to be able to keep all of the lives and not worry about them going away. So that's why we are doing these in YouTube until we can get our access to the Book of Faces back. We're also really doing a lot of stuff over in TikTok lately. So if you're not following me there, I'm going to put, let's see, at Hometown Hippie 74. And that's my big account that I'm on right now. And then I'm also on Hometown Hippie. Spell it right so you can find it, 420. These are my two TikTok accounts. Good morning. I see Heather has found us over here. I'm not sure how the internet is holding up today. It's not showing me anybody watching, but I know that Heather is here. It is also, those are the two things on TikTok that you can find. Hometown Hippie 74 and Hometown Hippie 420. Those are both ways you can find me live. I am going to be sending out to my moderators and admins an updated live schedule because we are going into the 25 days of Christmas lives for our elevated Advent calendar. But Sunday sermon is not about business. It is about the business of sharing a message. And if you are brand new here to the Hometown Hippie, maybe you're just following us on YouTube. And if you're just finding us randomly, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes and do me a favor. Drop us a hashtag Grateful Fed in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the little bell notification so that you know when we are live so you can find us, because the way that the internet is right now, we have to find all the different avenues. And if you are brand new here, we are a fun community called the Grateful Fed Community. I am affectionately known as the Hometown Hippie. My name is Tammy Nelson, and I love to go live and do Sunday sermon, which is what we call Sunday mornings. And it's just kind of a conversation about some messages that may come in from my angels, guides, and helpers this week, or maybe just from this human beat suit where I have experienced the world and things have come up. And sometimes there is a message in my mess of the week, and I come live on Sundays and share it. So if you are brand new here, I see there's 4 of you watching. Do me a little favor here. Do us a favor. Say hello and tell us where you're watching from, and drop us a Grateful Fed in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all the things on Facebook. This week is the week of Thanksgiving. So tell me if you're watching this, if you don't mind. Do me a favor. Wherever you're watching it, leave a comment. What is your plan for the week? Like, what is your holiday plan? I know by now everybody's kind of got a holiday plan. Are you visiting family? Are you cooking at home? Are you traveling? Or maybe you're just like, I gotta work. I work at one of those jobs where people, good morning, I'm gonna work. Maybe you're gonna do holiday a different time. People have lots of different circumstances around the holidays. This is a very, very, very interesting week for me. Number one, I have been a sappy mess the last couple of days. Like if I see something that is just kind, if I see something that is just cute, if I see anything, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I have been like things have just been touching my heart, and it's been making my heart come out of my eyeballs. And you know what that means? One of those sappy, cryy kind of weeks. And I was really kind of evaluate that. And I was like, And I said to my husband, I told my husband, so those of you that know me know my husband's name is Red, or that's his nickname, right? He's got red hair and all the things. But I said something big is coming. Something big is getting ready to happen. And he said, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Why do you think that?" He said, "Of course, there's always something big right." I said, "No." I was like, "Something major is coming into our life. I always know." He's like, "How do you always know?" And I was like, "Because I'm making room." I was like, all of my emotions are bleeding out of my eyeballs. And every time I get super sappy, every time that I get super teary eyed, every time that I get super over emotional and feel very full of just love, um, things leak out of my eyes, and that's making room for the next for what's coming to fill that space up, right? It's like, okay, your heart is so full, it's got to make room for something else. Let's give it some room. Let's cry some tears of joy. Let's cry some tears of happiness. Let's cry some tears of sadness, even, because our heart has all of those emotions sitting in it, right? And we should understand that. We should embrace the fact that our heart hurts as much as our heart smiles, right? And so sometimes our heart has sadness in it. Our heart has heartbreak in it. Our heart has all of the things in it. It houses it. And so when I'm crying, I'm like, I'm making room for whatever's coming, right? I'm making room for whatever is going to fill those places up. And I'm super excited to make that room. And I know that it is the week of Thanksgiving. And like I said, it's a very emotionally charged week for me because if you've watched me or followed me for any length of time, y'all all know the monumental importance that my mother played in my life and played in making me the woman that I am today. And this week was her most favorite week of the year. She got to get into her element, and she got to get into cooking and seeing all the family and chit chatting and just fellowshipping with family and being grateful and thankful and giving and doing for others. And my mom adored this week. And my sister and I handle it very differently. My sister very much goes into kind of a cocoon. This is the time of year that she really and truly mourns my mom. Like, to this week for her is totally difficult. It's very hard for her. And I think that it's because whenever I've been married now for 17 years, I've been with my husband for 20. And um, they have always had a very strong Thanksgiving tradition that it's at 1 o'clock right here. This is how we do it. We sit at the table and we eat lunch, right? And when I got married, my family has always been kind of a dinner time Thanksgiving. They're like the nighttime people for Thanksgiving. We owned a farm, right? We owned a dairy farm growing up. So we would always tend to do our Thanksgiving at supper time, not at lunchtime, but at dinner time. And so since I've been with my husband for about 20 years now, I kind of got out of the loop of going and being at my mom's or my sister's or whoever, my aunts or whoever was doing Thanksgiving and spending the whole day there. I would come in. I usually didn't eat with my family because it was just, one of those things. Now, for several years, we have done it a different day since my mom has passed. And that's a whole other thing for my sister. But she was always, she didn't, like, that was her tradition. That was her time with mom for a lot of years when it was just her mom doing Thanksgiving for her kids. Because my sister, her extended family or her husband's side of the family was out in another part of the country and they didn't do holidays like that. So it was very much a time for my mom and my sister over the last, many years. That's where my sister learned a lot of the recipes, and my niece learned how to make the pies. Um, a lot of the things about Thanksgiving for my sister, it's always been with my mom. Where I had that little break and I pulled away, and did the thing with my in-laws and all of that. Um, so it's a little bittersweet. I try to honor my mom's memory this week by doing the things that she would have done. Making a couple extra pies to sneak over to somebody's house who maybe doesn't have enough money to buy pie, or I may have to buy a frozen pie, or somebody who really likes a coconut cake. Let's make an extra coconut cake this week and surprise them with that coconut cake because it's Thanksgiving and let them know that we're grateful for them. Um, let's give away blah, 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 blah. Let's go help people out where we can help them. Let's enjoy the fellowship of family. I try to lean into the fun memories of this week with my family. And last night, y'all know how a lot of my Sunday sermons come up sitting in my recliner on a Saturday night, watching something on television. A couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, it was the Netflix movie that just tore me apart, and I came here and had this big revelation. And it's funny how the universe will speak to you. And when I say I was crying last night, it was so freaking ridiculous. I was legitimately last night. I normally don't watch this. We have all the cable channels, but told you give me 5 minutes. You gave me 12. I appreciate y'all. So last night I was watching. So let's see. I'm gonna look up here real quick. I'm gonna come back to this because I was being rude. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Meredith. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, everybody. I know there's 7 of you watching. I'm only seeing a few people commenting. I'm not sure if everybody can or cannot comment. If you're commenting on the Facebook page, I will go back and I will look at that. I will try to go over here. If anybody has an eye on both, let me know. And I will see if I can find any comments. I'm going to turn this volume down. And I'm going to go try to find the live so that I can see if anybody's commenting. My gratitude for the masses is untouchable. Good morning, Melanie. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I was watching last night. I don't want to try to mess this up. I was watching last night. Good morning. See, this internet's being weird. I know it now. I know it now. We have that. Okay. So as I was saying, last night, sitting on the couch, there was one thing I wanted to watch last night, and I'm like, there it is. Okay, there it is. Okay. So I see that we're live on Sunday sermon. I can't like that. I don't know why. Let me do that. Hang on. That's crazy. So I have been going in and trying to do things in Facebook. And when I do it, it takes it away and says, you're in Facebook jail. And I just like to post and it didn't take it away. So I'm anxious to see if maybe I might be out of Facebook jail. But that's a story for another day. I was watching television last night, and there was something that I never watch. I never, ever, if it's on HBO on a Saturday night, I'm like, why don't they have a movie on? It is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And HBO always carries it every year, and they play it back to back to back, and I get very frustrated with it because I just don't watch that kind of stuff. It's like an award show. Like, really, I pay all this money for TV, and I got to watch a freaking award show, blah, 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 right? Well, I saw the group of like artists being inducted and the people that were showing up. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to watch it. And I kind of wanted to watch it for one person. As silly as this may sound, and this is going to be like, stick with me, it makes sense, right? When I talk about this week, right? When I talk about this week of giving thanks and Thanksgiving, I can take myself back. I can take a few deep breaths, okay? And I can legitimately smell the smells, hear the laughter of the room, feel how hot it is in my grandma's house, but I can 100% transport myself back into the 1980s Thanksgiving, sitting at my nanny and granddaddy's house with my family. And I'm going to start today. Didn't want to start this today, and I didn't know it would start right just saying those words, right? And one of the reasons why I think that music is such an integral, I can't say words, integral. How do I say that word? An important part of who I am as a person, and why I think a lot of things get communicated to me through music, through sound, whatever, is because there was always music playing at my nanny's house. And she had record players. I learned how to use we used a record player, and we used 8 tracks, and we used radios, a lot of records, a whole lot of records. And my nanny, my nanny was Appalachian. I'm back. I'm back. Sorry. Stick with me. My internet's weird. And not don't worry, y'all. Before long, we're gonna get this internet. We're gonna be at the shop. We're good to go. But anyway, my nanny was the Appalachian force to be reckoned with. Okay, and if we needed it, she could make it. She could sew clothes. She could whip up anything from nothing. Um, and we were not wealthy growing up. Let me tell you this. We were wealthy. We were wealthy in love. We were wealthy in hard work and work ethic. We were wealthy in the ways that it mattered. We were not materialistically rich, right? We did not have just disposable income. My grandmother would start putting, she honestly bought Christmas gifts from the day after Christmas until it was done. She would do whatever she had to do to put something under the tree for everybody, and not just one thing. That might be, she knew that I needed underwear, so she would buy us underwear for Christmas. And she knew we didn't want to just have underwear, so she'd make us our favorite cake. And she always thought I always got embarrassed because I didn't want to get underwear in front of all the people, right? And she would wrap my applesauce cake up. I've talked about this applesauce cake, which I'm going to have to find the recipe and make for this year. It's done deal. Got to do it. And she just put stuff together. That's a problem. My nanny's recipes were a lot of things like, what do we got? Let's make something delicious out of it. It looks fine. Let's make a cake out of it, right? We got a little of this, a little of that. And there was never a recipe. It was just, she would always say, look at the consistency. That's the consistency of cornbread, Tammy Sue. That's the consistency of cake. That's what your biscuit dough is supposed to look like. Now put your hands in it and feel it. So I knew what all the ingredients were, but I didn't know the proportions of anything. Nothing is written down. When I say an Appalachian force to be reckoned with, she was an Appalachian force to be reckoned with. You just intuitively knew how to do things. She taught me how to intuitively cook, right? And I'm going to get really emotional because last night I watched that show for the strict reason. It wasn't Eminem, it wasn't Judas Priest, it wasn't Carly Simon, even though I love her, didn't know she was being inducted. It wasn't the Eurythmics. I love all of them. I like all that music. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't about all the different attorneys or the agents who got tapped in. It wasn't Jimmy Iovine from Beats by Dre or Interscope. It was Dolly Parton. I had to watch that show because Dolly Parton was being inducted. And nothing reminds me of my childhood more than artists like Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers and Loretta Lynn and Charlie Pride and Conway Twitty. All of this old country music that just sat and lived in my grandparents' home, right? My mom, on Saturday mornings we woke up, her cleaning music would be the Tanya Tucker 8-track. It would change itself. And it was Harper Valley PTA and the I can't think of all the names of all the songs, but I could sing it from start to finish. I'm not gonna do that for y'all. But Dolly Parton. And for those of you that knew me before the transition, if you knew me pre 2006, you know that I had gigantic breasts, right? I had giant boobs. I've had a breast reduction because I grew up from the time I was 11, 10, 11. I was very well endowed. And my grandparents actually called me Dolly. I mean, my granddaddy was the worst. I mean, you know how old country people are. They don't have any kind of filter. They don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. They don't care if it embarrasses you. It was a whole different way of being brought up back then. Um, and Dolly Parton was being inducted. And as soon as they started talking about all the things, like all the music came up, I was sitting on this faux leather couch at my nanny's house, smelling all the smells of Thanksgiving, smelling the cigarette smoke because everybody smoked in the 70s in the house. There was no getting around that. You know, it was the 70s, lead paint, asbestos, and cigarette smoke. I don't know how we don't all have cancer. We probably all do. But um, Dolly Parton was being inducted last night, and that's what I wanted to see. And when I tell y'all, when they were singing "The Coat of Many Colors," and cry, making room for big things, crying, making room for big things. It talked about how, and I just think about the stories, and I remembered all of the life lessons, right, that I was able to learn hearing the Dolly Parton record that had Jolene, and it was the greatest hits album from like the 70s and 80s. And it had like you open. My nanny always bought those, right? She would buy those, and she would have those. She loved music as well, and the cadence of it, the rhythm of it, all of it. She had Elvis Presley's greatest hits album. She had the Dolly Parton greatest, all the things, all of the stories about the musician. She loved to read those things and know. She didn't have the the VH1 and the MTV and the CM, whatever the things were, growing up. She read books, and she would listen to what they put on their albums and read that stuff. And you would feel like she could tell you stories about artists. And I'm like, how do you know that? She's like, I read about it. And I think about the fact that, if anybody ever met my nanny, they would not think that she was never formally educated like that. Never any college. I think she said she graduated, I think, but they went to a one-room schoolhouse in Appalachia. And she loved, 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 loved to write. She would just copy poems or copy things, but she loved to write. And they started singing Coat of Many Colors last night. And in my mind, I was playing through the jean skirts and the fact that because I did have big boobs, bras were super expensive for me. And my nanny was always about making something last. And she would actually go out and she would, it's not a replay, Billy. We're live, baby. No, we're live. She would actually piece together. She wanted to make sure she says, she had big breasts as well. She's like, it's nothing more uncomfortable than not having the amount of bras you need. And my nanny couldn't afford to buy me all these expensive bras. She would see how these like really nice, expensive sports bras were made. And she knew I loved to play softball and volleyball and cheerlead and all these things. So she took it upon herself to make these things so that I had them when maybe we couldn't afford going to the store and buying them. I did not know this was going to happen. I knew I was going to have a few little tears, but I didn't know it was going to like choke me up like this. And so mine might not have been a coat, and it's very embarrassing to talk about. My bra of many fasteners, right, that my nanny made for me, because that's what it was. She would take old ones that she was throwing away, and she'd cut off pieces and parts to those, and she legitimately, God, I wish I wouldn't have had one of them to show y'all this Frankenstein bra that she created. She would create them for me. She would cut and put cups together. It's room. I know that it is. And at 12 and 13 and 14, I was mortified. It was not this, I appreciate my coat of many colors at all. It was a severe teenager, like, what the fuck did you make me? Oh my God, look at this shit Nanny did. I cannot believe I'm not going to go out in the locker room in this thing. Y'all know what I'm saying, right? I was like, oh, look at this bullshit. I'm like, oh my God. But I love my nanny enough to where I was going to put it on and I'd wear it around the house or something because I know that the time and it was the thought. And then, oh my gosh, y'all, I did not know I was going to be like this over. This is my dirty apron I have to wash today. I set it here. Let me just do this. Whew. But I watched that last night because of Dolly, and I didn't know that was what I just wanted to have I love Dolly Parton. I think she's amazing. And I did not know that I was drawn to that. And in that moment when she got on stage and they were singing Jolene, and everybody was up there honoring her and talking about how much her artistry and her mission and the things that she's done in this world have made a difference and where she came from. I was sitting in my living room, kind of like this, because I was just like, that's awesome. I'm so happy for her. Like, when you work your butt off and you give of yourself, I love to see that accolade for her. And you could tell she was like overwhelmed by it. It's like, I had, Dolly being Dolly, because she's an amazing person. But last night when I was watching that, I thought I was watching that because I wanted to see Dolly Parton. I just wanted to see the music. I love Dolly Parton. Yeah, and Billy Ray, it's funny because my grandmother and grandfather were from Appalachia, from Tennessee, West Virginia, Southwest Virginia border, and my maiden name is Deskins, and that comes from an Indian name, Deerskin. We have a whole book about it. I don't know how much that's true. My sister's done like the ancestry. We definitely have a lot of Irish, English, Native American, all of that in our blood as well. My But when I was sitting there last night, what I thought I was watching, just because I love Dolly Parton. Last night before it was over with, I had in my ethereal, world, I could feel last night 100%. I was like, wow, my nanny was right there in the room with me last night. My mom was right there in the room. So many of my strong female ancestors were right in my area last night. It was the first time I felt like truly could tell which ancestors were there to be my angels, guides, and helpers, right? Which ones had come in. I love this so much. You tell my stories. So much of your childhood, your growing up feels so familiar in so many ways. Thank you for sharing your life with me. I'm sorry you're crying, Melanie, but it's good tears, right? And I felt them last night in the room. And I was like trying to apologize, right? I was like, I'm so sorry that I didn't appreciate everything when you were here, right? Because I'm like, I was that shitty teenager who didn't appreciate it, who didn't go visit my grandparents like I should have, who was like, I'm living my own life, I'm growing up now, and did not appreciate all of that. And I think about, did I hurt their feelings? Did I break their heart? But I said it's never too late to say, I'm sorry. I appreciate it. And oh, hang on. Give me a second. I'm going to stop doing these if I can't behave myself. I promise y'all. Do not want this to happen. Okay. It's going to get happy. I told you, give me a minute, right? I'm going to turn that frown upside down. And when I was like this last night, and I was very much like meditating, and I was apologizing. Like my higher self was going to. I'm like, I see you. I appreciate the fact that you saw that I needed something, and you loved me enough to spend countless times doing these things. That as an adult, I see it. And here's the message today. right? I've been in a mess thinking like I was a terrible grandchild. Like I didn't appreciate it when they were here. And you can't look back. I'm like, you know what? And the message I got from every single ancestor last night. And I want to tell you this. And if you're feeling the way that I'm feeling today, and this week of Thanksgiving, because a lot of emotions for a lot of us get pulled up, the people that are no longer here with us anymore, the people that we miss, we get very reminiscent around this time. And my nanny said to me last night, give me a second, because it was big, and this is the message today. And I didn't think I was going to cry over it, but I am. Whew. I'm apologizing because I wanted to be able to be a more a more put together orator. I'm like trying to get my shit together, right? And then he says, "You honor us every day. You lead and you live by our example, and we're so proud of you." And I was like, but I was like, wow, thank you. I was like, it's the first time ever. I was like, so if you're feeling like this, right? If you are feeling happy at the same time and everything else, right? It's just coming out. Maybe you're feeling a little nostalgic this week. Maybe you're remembering things. What I want you to remember is, right, the memories are important. The memories are important. Whew. Okay, give me a second. She's like, you're doing it. You were a normal 12-year-old. I knew that you were going to balk at that bra, but you needed it. And it didn't matter to me that you didn't accept it then because you wore it. And I did. And here's how I wore it. I wore it on days where I didn't have to change out in front of anybody. I wore it on days where I wore my jersey because it was the best bra I ever owned. It was the most supportive bra. It was the bra that I wore to every single softball game that I played because it was the bra that kept everything in place and didn't make my back hurt. I wore that for every cheerleading outing because when I didn't, I'd have the extra bubble booties, right? And I didn't like that. Even though I acted like an ass about it and I pretended that I didn't love it. Deep down inside, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever owned. She was the first person to pull the crosses. Like she crossed the straps. I mean, she figured it out, right? And I did not in the moment. And she's like, you weren't supposed to. She knows that now, right? She's like, you weren't supposed to. You weren't supposed to. But you are walking the walk. You could have said you love the bra and kept it moving. But you were authentic and real. And whew, and last night when I watched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I wanted to see Dolly Parton get inducted, and I was very drawn to it. Like I'm like, why am I really need to find this and watch it. Like it was important to me. It's gonna be on 75 more times over the next week. Probably past that. But it was important for me last night, even though I was watching something else, to turn the television over to watch that. And there was a lot of other little pieces and parts of that that kind of came up and saying things I wrote down and journaled about, whatever for me. But the message last night wasn't about the coat of many colors or that bra. That that wasn't the message was this. The message was is that this week when you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling very sad and you're feeling like you really miss somebody, you can honor them, right? You honor them by being by letting their legacy live on through you. And this whole thing started for me. Um, I was at a family reunion in July of 2019 at my Aunt Lisa's house, the year after my mom passed away. Maybe it was 2018. It was the summer after my mom passed away. So it was 2018. Took me a year to get there, but um, we were at the reunion and we were in line to get food. And I was approaching the heaviest I've ever been. I'd gained a ton of the weight. I've been eating myself through my grief. And my aunt had everybody, every walk shape, every walk of life, every family every family member you wanted and didn't want there, right? Every side of the family we accept and we don't talk about, right? Everybody. She's like, we're inviting them all, and they all showed up. And we were in line, and I had, I'd seen people because we just had mom's funeral, so I kind of remember because I was like, oh yeah, I remember you, and somebody walked up behind me in line and said, "Wow." They tapped me and said, "Wow." I said, "What?" They're like, "Your mama, your mama will always walk this planet as long as you're on it because you are her spitting image. The apple didn't fall far from the tree; it fell straight down. You are your mama inside and out." Here comes the tears again, and I lost it. I lost. That is the highest compliment I had ever gotten. And I started, like, it's okay, sweetheart, we know. I was like, I miss my mama. And then I got mad. I got mad at it. It is so hard, Billy. It is so hard. When my mom passed away, I told people, I was like, I feel like I am walking on this planet with a piece of my heart gone. And I said, it's never coming back. It's never coming back. I know she's not in pain. I know she's in a better place. I know she's not suffering. I know that it is the cycle of life. I get it. And I understand it all. I'm not going to take to the bed and not get out again. I've already done that. I was like, I understand it. I was like, but I truly feel like when my mom passed away, half of me went with her. At that moment, a huge chunk of everything about me was just because I had been, if she called, I dropped everything because she's been a little hot. She'd been sick, and I just didn't know. That's how I operated, right? Sorry, I got a board. I'm gonna do this to be nice because I don't want you to hear all. This is must see TV right there, right? Okay, but I felt like that. And in that moment, I was like, I've never had a higher compliment, but I'd never been more pissed off in my life. I'm like, how is it fair that everybody else gets to go through the world thinking that my mom is still here because they're looking at me, and I don't get to have my mom? Like, I can't fulfill myself. Like, I can't do this. It's not the same thing. I'd hug a cousin. Oh, that's like your mama's hugs. And at that moment, my mama is definitely, I said, she's half my heart. So obviously they're feeling it, right? Woo. And I was like, I'm mad. And then I got sad because I said this. I was like, but when I die, I have no legacy to leave behind. I was not able to have children. And then I was like, so my mom stops with me. If I am my mom incarnate, if that's what everybody says, and I wasn't able to have kids because I wasn't. That was not something that I was able to do. I was like, I have to. What do I do? I have to have a legacy. And over the next year, between that reunion and when I started my journey of like, hey, I got to pull myself out of this, got to get myself together. Um, I decided that's where the Grateful Fed was born out of. It was born out of my ego. Honestly, let's just be honest about it. It was born out of the fact that I'm like, I have to leave a legacy behind, a foundation, an organization. I have to leave something on this planet behind that honors those things. And the messages kept coming in hot and heavy. There's a lot of kids out there who don't have the love that a lot of us have for our moms, right? My mom loved me. I said, I was 46 years old when my mom passed away, 45 years old. I keep trying to make it less time that I've been here without her. But I said, the thing that I can stand on and that I will never dispute, there was never a day in my entire life, never a day in my entire life that I have doubted or even questioned that my mother loved me without question. That she loved me so very much. I never felt unloved in this world. I knew that I was her heartbeat. She would tell me, she says, you are the first thing that I knew that ever truly loved me. I made you. Now, did we have our fights? We did. And we yell at each other, fuck you, I love you too. It was just we were just peas in a pod. And so I was like, what's mom's legacy? What's mom's legacy? I was like, I'm not a real religious person. My mom was a devout Christian woman. She was a smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, and cuss you on Saturday, but she'd say hallelujah on Sunday. My mom believed that Jesus Christ died and for her sins, and that she was going to heaven. She loved some good old gospel music, but she loved some country and some rock and some rap. She loved it all. But here's what I sat down and thought about. My mom loved, right? And I say this often. I don't think she ever loved herself the right way, because she'd still be here with us if she did. But she's like, and I'm not. She was everything in my world, and I feel like kind of like she sacrificed herself, and she did all these things. And she told us one time, she's like, I never believed that I deserved better, but I knew that my kids did, and I don't want them to see me accepting less because I wanted them to know that they deserve better. And she would do things. She says, I didn't care if you treated me like shit. You were not going to treat me like shit so that my girls thought that they could be treated like shit. She said, I stand up for myself so that y'all will know to stand up for yourselves. Even if I'm faking it till I make it, I want the two of you to never feel less than. And then I don't want your brother to feel like that's how a man treats a woman or a relationship is. And I want him to see what a strong, independent woman should be like. My mom loved to give to others. We owned restaurants. We had people that would steal food from us. I was like, if they are stealing food, they needed the food worse than they needed a job. They can have it. They don't have a job because they have to ask me. All they have to do is say, I am hungry. And Mom will say, I will feed you and your family. And she would. Nobody was going hungry around her, right? Nobody was. So when I started building the Grateful Fed and this organization, I was like, well, number one, my love language is feeding people. And it was kind of out of selfishness. I'm like, I cannot feed myself anymore because I have to lose this weight. I've got to get this diabetes and this hypertension and all this stuff out. I've got to stop this. I got to figure out a way for that. So number one, I was like, let me just reverse that with food, right? And then I was like, well, but my mom loved to feed others. And she didn't just feed others, didn't feed each other, didn't feed people just physically. When you were struggling, maybe you had addiction issues, or maybe you had, there's a lot of people in our world that just have trouble and they just don't, they have karmic lessons and soul contracts. And I used to see them as like, Mom, like, leave them freaking idiots alone. I'm like, they don't listen. They don't appreciate. I would yell at her all the time, like, stop giving all these crackheads the benefit of the doubt. And she's the one who taught me, if you stop reading people's books in their worst chapter, you're going to miss some pretty phenomenal stories. And there were some people in our community who I didn't know back when I was, she knew them because we grew up with them, and how they didn't always have their shit together, but she said, you love them through it. She says, I'm not saying that you do it you don't sacrifice yourself, not to that point. You don't give more than you have. But if what you're able to do for others, you should do for others. That is your responsibility as a human being. You have to you have to put your own oxygen mask on. You got to feed yourself first because you can't feed others if you're not full, right? You have to pour from your saucer, not from your empty cup. But if you have something to help, it may just be a smile as they walk in the door, a kind gesture. And she taught me the value of what giving looks like. It may just be giving a hug. It may just be giving a good morning. I hope you're having a great day and cheering somebody up. It may be giving them the last dime you got in your bank account because they need it worse than you do because all your bills are paid. And we've done that. And I've seen her do that. I've heard her say to us, "We're gonna have beans this week, so everybody else can have beans too." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "So and so lost their job. They didn't have any food, so we're gonna eat hot. No, we're not eating fancy this week, but everybody's eating." I can't tell you the amount of times that we've had community meals where everybody brought something. That's where the stone soup came from, right? And learning how to make something from nothing, like my nanny, right? Learning how to intuitively make something from nothing, how to appreciate everything that you've got because it matters, upcycling all the things, right? You don't need a lot of money to be have a lot of stuff. And understanding um, the legacy and what that means, and the fact that yes, I look like my mom, but that's not what they meant when they said she's always going to be here. Understanding the nuances, right, of the lessons that you learn and how you honor those people that you love this week, how you give thanks. That's why this month is so important to me. We have lots and lots and lots of things we're giving away this month, and I know that it seems silly to people. People ask me, like, Tammy, you give it all away. I was like, I don't give it all away. If I gave it all away, I couldn't afford to do the things that I do. I give what I can. I give of myself what I'm able to give of myself. Do I do it sometimes at the detriment of myself? Sure, we all have those moments. I'm learning to reel that in a little quicker, right? I'm learning to reel that in a little quicker. But if you are part of the Grateful Fed community, I truly believe that the message I got when this whole thing started was because when I got myself figured out, right, I started taking care of myself and trying to build a legacy. I was looking for places to go and insert my legacy in other places and or other organizations. Like, well, maybe I can go help here, or maybe I can go help here, maybe I can go help here, and nothing felt right. And the message kept coming: if you build it, they will come. And I thought that was so silly because it's a line from a movie, right? Build your dreams. If you build it, they will come. And I cackled at myself that that's the thing I wrote down, right? It's kind of a little, if you're a Gen Xer, that's kind of a catchphrase, right? It's everything. If you build it, they will come. And every day in that new building that we're in, right? Every since we've been in that building, every day, I get a surprise. Some random person stops by. There's a store next door to us called Mid Atlantic Irrigation. Yeah, Heather was there, I think, whenever this happened, right? There's a guy sitting outside. He walks through the door. I'm like, "Hey, are you here to pick an order up?" And he was there. I think Heather walked out and asked him. I said, "That's not one of our customers. He must be here from Mid Atlantic." He walks to the door and says, "I think that." I was like, he was a whole conversation, blah blah blah, and just through a conversation with this man, I've got his card. He has a hemp field. He wants to give me. He's like, "I got about 40,000 pounds of it. Come on, get it." Um, every day, right? If you build it, they will come. Friday, people just stop by. Hey, just wanted to come by and see your place. Wanted to say I'm so proud of you. I'm like, what? They're like, just I've been watching. Um, I'm gonna call Melanie Lewis out today because she had me crying all weekend too. Just like her comments here, right? She talks about how I don't have a clue the people that I touch through these messages. Like I had no idea. I'm like, you are exactly right. You are 100% right. Because every time when I do these lives, and this is God's honest truth, I get off of here and I'm like, I am so awkward. Nobody wants to see me cry about my nanny on a live. I'm ridiculous. Why did that happen? And I beat myself up all week. I beat myself up about I overshared. I just nobody cared about that. Nobody needed to see you cry, Tammy. And I will give myself that hard talk. And then I say to myself, you know what? It's done now. Can't fix it. I was like, it's what it was. It made me feel better. It's like maybe the power of one for this message was me. And every time I get off of a live where I think that the message that I gave that day, right? The message that came out of my mess, just me talking whatever I talk, every time that I feel like nobody needed to hear it, that I was awkward and uncomfortable, I will get a message from somebody that will tell me how much they needed to hear that message. So, what I want to tell each and every one of you is do not be afraid to share your story. Do not be afraid to build your legacy. Do not be afraid to build it because they will come. No matter what that looks like for you. I don't have the words and I don't have the ability to give the gratitude that I want to give. I think that's what pushes me so hard to be successful and to not just be wealthy in all the things that really matter, but also be wealthy as far as monetary things. Because you can't change the world without like change the world money. And that's what I'm like, I want to be able to say thank you, to give back to people. And last night, when I was sitting in my living room, surrounded in my spiritual field, right? Whatever you want to call it. I understood, right? That the way that I show how much I appreciate is by continuing to be consistent, by continuing to be true to who I am, and continuing to walk forward in this path, by honoring my ancestors, by honoring each and every one of you who trusted me to lead this crazy Grateful Fed group. I don't know if I'd call it leading or not, kind of like being the crowded table, being the way station, being the place where you can come get a good mom hug and something to eat, right? Sorry about that. Got really dry right there. That's how I say thank you. That's how I try to say thank you every day to every single one of you, to every single person who came before me, who paved this path, who taught me the importance of being kind, who taught me the importance of doing the right thing, right? Trying to always do the right thing. Like, is that right or is that wrong? How does it affect those around you? Can you see the perspective of maybe that person had a bad day? Give them the benefit of the doubt. And I give grace because I have received grace. And I want you to tell me in the comments right now, what are you the most thankful for today? What are you the most thankful for today? And I know that we are on a mission to be an hour or less, so I'm going to go ahead this morning and I'm going to say a couple of little small things while I grab our, oh, there we go, I moved them already. While I grab our, and I try really hard to encompass the 4 agreements where I don't take things too personally. Sometimes, we all have those moments. I try to do my best. But like I told Red, I was like, the one thing that I don't ever dispute is that I try to do things with the utmost integrity. Oh, thank you, Billy Ray. I appreciate you so much. As we go into this week of Thanksgiving, I want y'all to know that I am thankful for each and every single member of my Grateful Fed family. I am also very, very grateful for all of the members of my actual blood-related family. I have been taught and I have been blessed to come from a line of strong, fierce, loving, amazing chefs, cooks, herbalists. The genes are strong, right? The genes are strong. I am so blessed to have had the role models in my life that I have. And I feel like it is honestly like that is my duty. It is my responsibility, right? To make sure that this legacy of love, the legacy of gratitude, the legacy of kindness, the legacy of do unto others, right? Um, the legacy of the power of one, where every single that's what it's about, right? Every single day. I cannot. If I could, we'd have to do it but once. I go out today and I'm like, abracadabra. Leviosa, it's Leviosa, right? It's Leviosa. I'll go out and just wave the wand, wiggle the nose, whatever, which thing you watch, right? Whether it's Bewitched or Harry Potter or whatever. Um, I would go out and I would wave the wand, and we would have no more war. We'd have no more famine. We'd have no more angriness. We'd have no more of these ugly things that happen in the world. It'd all be gone. It would just go away because I would wave a magic wand. And I'm sure many of you would do the same thing if you could. But unfortunately, the world doesn't work like that, right? Everything vibrates at its own level. But a part of being a part of the Grateful Fed family is about raising the collective vibration by every day going out and being a blessing to at least one other person on this planet. It's about changing the world one person at a time. It's about going out and being true to who you are and spreading that through conversation with one person. And here's the thing: you can go out and you can talk a big game, right? I can go on YouTube and talk to 1,000 people or 4 people, right? Doesn't matter. Um, and that's what I do today. But nothing substitutes me going into the Walmart in my hometown and seeing a mom struggling trying to get kids wrangled up and then reach something on the top shelf and walking over and going, "Hey, how may I help you? Like, can I help you hold a child? Can I grab that off the top shelf for you? What do you need? You just need a hug and you're doing a good job, mama." Maybe it's just being able to hold the door open for an elderly person as they walk through the door and giving them a smile. Maybe it is seeing exacerbated construction worker on the phone fussing with the phone and going through a drive-through and being able to say, "Hey, pay for the guy behind me. He's having a bad day. I hear him fussing on the phone. He's having a tough day. Go make him smile. Let me pay for his food behind me." Um, every day, you, me, everybody, we have the ability to go out and do these random acts of kindness or sit down with people and have a conversation. And I do that. I have people, and sometimes my conversations are not love and light. My conversations can be fuck around and find out. We have people in the Grateful Fair community that struggle. They struggle with addiction. They struggle with making poor choices. They struggle with food. They struggle with relationships. They struggle with finding themselves and doing what they know is right for themselves. They tend to make bad choices over and over and over again. Now, what do I say to them? I'm like, "Hey, today's a new day to start over. Give yourself grace. Try to get it done." Maybe they'll ask like, "Hey, I love you. Right now, your energy isn't aligned with my energy. I'm going to send you. I'm going to hold space for you, but I can't have you in my actual general energy area because you're stressing me out. You're too chaotic right now." There are the people that I work with. I'm like, "Hey, your chaos energy is too much for me. Take a deep breath." And that's okay because people know where they stand. Because I think honesty is also important. Gentle and kind honesty. People have to be able to hear you, but still, I'm not saying to do it at the detriment of yourself. I'm saying to pour from a full cup. And today, let's focus this week, right? It's a week of Thanksgiving. Gratitude raises the vibration. So give gratitude for the things that you have. Even if you feel like everything's falling down, there's one thing that you can hold on to. And I'm looking at all these great things here, right? I'm thankful to have another blessed day with all my people. I'm grateful for all the new, beautiful, wonderful people that have come into my life, both here in this community and in my home life. I love that. Melanie helps people even when she can't help herself sometimes. And she tries. Billy Ann, I know that you're grateful for all the things, right? She says this message. She says she's grateful for that. I appreciate that. We love you and we are here for you. And I love you and I'm here for you. So this is what this group is about. It's about going out and remembering the power of one person at a time, one place at a time, one family at a time. So let's go ahead and pull one card at a time for our weekly affirmation card. I'm a little over my time today, but we went out on the internet, so we're going to give ourselves another 3 minutes just because we want to be, fair to it. Um, I hope that we'll get ourselves back into our normal routine and get some more folks in these Sunday sermons again. I know with the Facebook being kind of wonky, it does that, but these are always here for you to have. We're going to take our 3 deep breaths today. If y'all can help me do that, I would really appreciate it. It's going to calm my energy and help calm yours. I got my feet on the ground to kind of get grounded. Let's take that deep breath in through our nose. Kind of sounds fluttered today. We're going to take some deep breaths in. Then blow them out through our mouth. We're going to calm our energy today. I'm grateful that you woke up early to watch this too, Amanda. We're going to inhale the good shit. Let it fill up your body. Let all that love and light that you're soaking up, all that good juju that you're feeling right now, let that fill up your body. And look, just anything that doesn't serve you anymore, all of that anger, all of that like hate and discontent, and all the things that are no longer needed anywhere in your body, all the sadness, the heartache, we're going to blow that out. Whew. Make some noise with it, right? Right? Just get it out of your body. We don't need that. We don't need that negativity. Like, not today, Satan, right? Not today, Satan. And let's go ahead and get our collective card for our community today. 4, 5. That's our 5th card today. Okay. And this is the week of Thanksgiving. This is going to be our crystal card for this week, and it's agate. Beautiful stone, and it says get back into balance. So get back into balance with your agate stone this week. Well, let's see what agate talks about. Just see how it goes with our message today. Sorry, y'all. All that crying got me all snotty. Okay. Now is the time for mastering your sense of equilibrium. Reevaluate how you spend your time and energy to ensure your efforts are aligned with the priorities in your life. Choose to put less important things on the back burner so you can give your full attention to what matters most. Taking things at a slower pace does not equate to a less productive day. Often it's just the opposite. Taking your time and distributing your energy in a healthier, more intentional way will help you feel more centered, enabling you to become more successful in everything that you do. And this is an important message that's going along with today's message. And it starts with remembering what's important. Remembering how you look at wealth, remembering how you see things, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, what's important is what we just talked about: the wealth of family, the wealth of love, the wealth of kindness, the wealth of generosity and grace for ourselves. And a lot of times during the holidays, we tend to start prioritizing everybody else around us. Oh, so and so wants me here because of this, and so wants me there because of that, and everybody wants to do this and they want to do that. What I'm going to tell you right now is take a deep breath, set your boundaries, and prioritize what's important. Right? So, for example, my dad is like, this year, the first time in a long time, it's just going to be my dad and his girlfriend, my sister and her family, and not even my nephew because he's away at college. And so, and the other nieces and nephews are not going to be able to come around this weekend at all. So, versus us moving Thanksgiving to like the Saturday, my sister's just going to go to my dad's on Thanksgiving Day. And my dad was trying to press me a little bit about, like, well, you're going to the Nelsons. I'm like, I have always gone to the Nelsons. I don't ask to do 2 meals, but I will certainly come by and see y'all. I'll bring you some pies, all the things. I'm just not going to eat 2 Thanksgiving meals. We've always done it the weekend after. This is a weird year. I get it. But you have to understand that. I said, you're not going to stress me out. I'm not going to feel guilty about the way the holidays are going down. I see you all the time. It's just another day of the year. But I promise you, Daddy, when I get done at my in-laws, when I go from there, I'm coming to your house to be able to hug your neck and to see you on Thanksgiving. Now, years past, I would have tried to like finagle it, like we have to be here at this time. Can y'all do lunch at this time? And they would wait for us, and I wouldn't even want to eat, right? And getting into balance is important, especially during this time of year. Prioritizing what's important. Maybe you're a young parent, and you're like, everybody wants you to come to their house on Christmas Day. Hold your line. No. What's important is that my kids get to spend the day playing with their items and being at home in their pajamas. And if y'all want to see me, you can come here and see me. I don't know when that's coming up, but somebody needs to hear that. Maybe you're a grandparent, you're like trying to pressure kids. Don't do it. Allow them to enjoy their family time and try to find where you fit in that. Okay. Number 2, get yourself into balance, right? Maybe the problem with getting into balance is that you don't know what priorities are straight in your life. And this is the message that's coming in. So I think somebody needs to hear it, right? Um, so feel more centered, and everything else in your world will fall into place. When you set your boundaries and you know what's important and you prioritize your life, it's kind of like trying to go on a road trip without a map. If you don't know what your center is, it's hard to stay in balance if you don't know what it is. So prioritize and find your center so that you can get back into balance. The core questions this week. What are the priorities in your life? What areas in your life get most of your time and energy? Are these things aligned? Think about that, right? If your kids are the thing that's the most important in your life, are they getting the most of your time, or is your work getting it? Maybe your partner is the most important thing in your life, but you don't see them but once a year. Think about that. Are you spending your time in a way that serves your intentions and supports a balanced life? And that goes from knowing to doing, right? So the journal prompts are going to help you know it so that you can actually start doing it. And then our crystal affirmation this week, the week of Thanksgiving, the week of giving thanks and being in gratitude, is balance is my natural state of being. Today, stop and take 30 deep breaths. Anytime you feel out of balance, this is a great thing, right? Yes, I love that, Heather, and you're okay with that. You're taking that into stride. But when you start feeling out of whack, this is amazing what it says. Anytime you're starting to feel wonky and out of balance this week, stop. It's going to happen. It's the turkey cooking and the people coming in and the pies and the stuffings and all the things we do. We get very out of whack. We start feeling like I'm running out of time. This isn't all the things, right? Stop. Remember what I say? Inhale the gratitude. Inhale the thankful, exhale the hateful, right? It's Thanksgiving. Inhale the grateful, exhale the hateful. All the things you're thinking. And say to yourself, balance is my natural state of being. Balance is my natural state of being. And I promise you, it'll be a great week. Okay. I appreciate y'all for listening to my Tammy's Brawl of Many Colors story today. That my grandma made for me. I might write a song about that. Heather's going to post these in the group. I cannot wait to see how everybody's birds look. We are approaching the end of the month. A couple of things, right? We have our 30 days of gratitude post. Don't forget, go back and comment if you've not already done so in our Facebook group. Everybody that comments is going into the hopper. We have lots and lots and lots of names in the hopper. Every day that you comment, you get extra entry. You get entry into the giveaway. We're giving away $100 Hometown Hippie gift certificate, great to use for gift giving. Every day we get 50 comments. We're adding another free bonus prize to that. We have got our advent calendars, y'all. You need to get on those if you've not gotten on those. They are phenomenal. They are $99. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. For 25 days of treats. The 25th day is a pre-roll. It's got lots of fun stuff in there. All the holiday stuff is dropping this week. Give the gift to the Hometown Hippie. I appreciate y'all all so much. Make sure you get in on that deal. You want to grab your advent calendar. You do not want to miss that. Get it on the gratitude post. And then Friday for Black Friday, you can shop online from wherever you are. All the Hometown Hippie Black Friday deals are dropping out. They will run until they're sold out. The initial Black Friday cost of those will be what you want to jump on, though, because they will go up. I'm going to give a Black Friday code on Black Friday, so you want to stay tuned for that. It's coming out. It'll only be good for that one day to save you some nice amounts of monies. So make sure that you are there. They are not available on the advent calendars. Those will go away on Saturday morning, but the coupon is not available on those because I took those as cheaply as I could for y'all. I can't take any more discounts off of that. So on that note, I love each and every one of you. I have go out and have a blessed and great Thanksgiving. You will see me live this week doing lots of things over on TikTok. That's where I'm going to be most of the week. That and Instagram in the mornings. So I'll be posting out a schedule this week. My brand ambassadors will be glad to post that for you. Again, if you're here on Facebook, if you're here on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, you put the little bell on so you know that I'm going to be live. Share with your friends, get it out there. If you're a brand ambassador, get everybody over to this page. I've got some fun stuff coming out for y'all. If you get 5 people, you're going to get some free stuff, a whole free idea. I got a whole thing for y'all. a whole holiday pack. So get 5 people using your code this week. They can use that on the advent calendar. So that's new customers only. They get that one time shot. Please do not give that to somebody that already is in our group, only to your new people that you met that do not know me already. And on that note, as always, peace, love, and feast. And y'all, stay elevated. I love you and have a blessed week. Bye.